+7 at the half, third quarter. We spot Shadow and James right there. He gets tied up with Chris Paul. DeAndre Ayton finds Booker down the other end. James and Frank Vogel both assess technical fouls there. Shortly thereafter, in fact, like a minute later, James drives, is fouled. Take a look at Booker right there. So he said something, got a T, and then he bounced the ball like that, and another official. So he had two different officials call a T on him in the same play, and he's out by rule. Booker leaves with 17 points. The Suns lead after 3 by 3, but you got to figure they don't have Booker. They're in trouble. Saric misses. Bridges saves the ball. Crowder had 15. Suns up 7. But here comes LeBron James. Stop, pop. James, 16 of 24, 38 points. But, I mean, the Suns' hot shooting from 3 continued all night long. Dennis Schroeder misses that. Paul to Bridges. No Booker, no problem. The Suns continue their hot streak. 114, 104.
You gain confidence when a guy like Book doesn't play or gets tossed, and you're able to pull a game out on the road at the end of a road trip. You know, that's a combination for mailing it in. And I've said it all year long. This group has shown a lot of resiliency. But that was a big-time character win, and we got better.
It's always tough, especially we played so well the last 2 games. We're getting back into a rhythm, and, then we find out today, 2 of our big guns are out. So, it's definitely deflating, especially when you were playing poorly and then you get a good rhythm and then you hit with that. So, it definitely hurts our ball club.
Stephen A., you think the Warriors are just going to make the league pay when Clay returns?
Without question. Without question. Let me tell you something right now. Once Clay Thompson returns, we're assuming health. We're not debating health. There's nothing to debate about that. If they're not healthy, there's no go. But if Clay Thompson and Steph Curry on the court together and healthy, Warriors going to conference finals, at the very least. Warriors going to win 50 games, at the very least. The Warriors will unquestionably, we talk about the Utah Jazz being the best shooting team in the NBA. That wouldn't be the case if Clay and Steph were on the court. I promise you that much. That wouldn't happen then. You can book it. Let me tell you something right now. And by the way, this kid Wiseman, who's just a rookie, the number 2 overall pick, Jaja Pajulia and Andrew Bogut, he is not. He can actually play. I mean, not to say that they couldn't play at all, but they ain't no James Wiseman. This kid's got a tremendous upside. When I look at the team as presently constructed, if you told me that Klay Thompson comes back, but you still have a Kelly Oubre, and you still have an Andrew Wiggins, and you got a James Wiseman, and you got Pascal, and you got Draymond Green and these boys, with Steph and Klay healthy? Oh, please. You're going to the conference finals. Easily. And I'm telling you that right now. They understand everybody's going to come at them. When Steph is balling, it's a different game. When he's struggling a little bit, as he has over the last 7 or 8 meetings against the Los Angeles Lakers, where they've held him under 20 points, that's a different ball game. But when Klay and Steph are on the court together, this is the greatest shooting backcourt in NBA history. And Steph Curry is the greatest shooter since man was created. That's who he is. And Klay ain't that damn far behind, okay? I'm telling you right now. Klay and Steph get back together healthy, you're at the very least, conference finals.
They're not making the league pay when Klay gets back. That's different, Stephen A. You're starting to move the goalposts about what make the league pay means. Like, are they going to win 50 games? Are they going to be a tough out? For sure. Might they, if they add the right pieces, win another championship eventually? Sure. But what the Warriors were, what Steph is talking about that stretch where people want payback, they were stomping the league, starting with that 73-win team, because even the year before when they won the title, Cleveland was going to beat them in the finals if Kyrie and Kevin Love were healthy for LeBron, and they went 6 games without them. But that season, too, they were better than everyone else in the Western Conference. And then the following year, they smoked everybody else. And then they added Kevin Durant. And those days ain't coming back. I mean, if they're able to swing a move for a guy like a Durant-level player, or not that many who ever existed, right, to add to this team, okay, fine, those days can come back. But if we're just talking about the roster, more or less as is, and Clay healthy and Steph healthy, like Draymond Green is not what he once was quite. I mean, even just shooting, Stephen A., and this predates any issues with KD or Clay in terms of injuries. Draymond Green was like shooting 33, 34% from three. Remember that one year he shot 38, 39%? He shot under 31% from three since then. He does not shoot from the outside. The idea that you can play five out with Draymond, not really, not the way it once looked like they were going to be able to. So this is a different team, and this coincides, right? No Iguodala in his prime, was a great player and a big game player. So things have really changed. Obviously no KD. Even if Clay comes back, he's coming back to a Western Conference that ain't your big brother's Western Conference. The Lakers are a powerhouse with AD. All these other teams have come up in the world. If there's no OKC like there once was, don't forget OKC took them 7 games when the Warriors had won 73 that year. Took them 7 games to Oracle in the Western Conference Finals. But look at all these teams. Denver's coming up. You mentioned Utah's coming up. The Clippers, it is a new day for the Clippers. The Lakers are the defending champs. They're never going to do to the Western Conference what they used to do. They're not making people pay like that anymore. It is a new time, Stephen A.
Well, you could say that. We don't know that definitively because, again, we'll see when Klay Thompson gets back. That's number one. Number two, the league has adjusted. What did the Utah Jazz did? After losing in the first round of Denver last year, they went out and they got some shooters. And they improved as shooters as well. Yeah, you got defense on the interior as well as on the perimeter with Gobert and Royce O'Neal. But in the end, you got guys shooting lights out, and the pickup of Bogdanovich was a big-time pickup. We recognize that. So you got people trying to emulate what the Golden State Warriors used to do. Even LeBron James, excluding the month of February, where he was god-awful from three-point range at about 16%. The bottom line is that he's been shooting better from the three than we've seen him do arguably in his entire career. So we're paying attention. But who are the originators? Who are the pioneers in the modern era when it comes to the three-point shooting artistry? That would be the Golden State Warriors. Now, in Draymond's case, he's got something to work on because what you pointed out, Max, in 2015, 2016, he shot 38% from three-point range. Since then, it's 30, 30, 28, 27, and it's now at 22.4%.
And you can't even say it's Clay's injury because it predates Clay's injury.
Well, I understand that. So that's something that's the impediment to Draymond. I think he does everything else great, but shooting the basketball definitely is not his thing. In the end, though, what I think about is the presence of Clay and Steph and what that would open up for Wiseman, what that would open up for an Oubre or Wiggins or Pascal or anybody else. I think about this shooting not just from three. I think about this shooting not just from the perimeter, but I think about what just the near perfection that they put forth from the free throw line. I'm telling you right now, Max, I would sit here and I'd have a hard time looking at the Golden State Warriors and definitively saying, ain't no way they get to the finals. Look, they might get to the finals next year if Clay healthy.
Maybe, but I don't think so. Let's go over that roster that you mentioned. Wiseman is promising. He doesn't shoot free throws great, by the way, which may be a better indicator of long-term success from three, but he's shooting better already than we thought. I like Wiseman as a piece at the five. You're right. They have not had someone like that in the past. That's an improvement. Oubre's okay. Wiggins is fine. Not compared to his salary, but he could play. But back once upon a time, Stephen A., Steph and Clay were the undisputed best backcourt in the league. That's not the case anymore. You have Kyrie and James Harden. You have Dame and McCollum. It's all on the same level, and you could argue some better. You have CP3 and Devin Booker. You have other pairs that are comparable to that. Maybe not quite with the shooting, although some of them shoot very, very well. But they're comparable in terms of value in the backcourt. Now there's no KD on the team. And unless you have a piece like that, and there aren't that many of them, that's now gone.